Good morning, everyone. Today we'll actually be going over some mentor training in anticipation of the beginning of our Hack the Threat 23 hackathon. Today we have our mentors joined along with us. And we just want to give you all a few tools to make sure you all are successful in the event that's starting on Thursday, just a few days from now. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over on my screen, and I am going to hit share right here. There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna move you all over here so I can see your lovely shining text on your screen. And let's go ahead and start the show. Now, before I go too far, see this little gray bar? Let me move that over there. That's the controls. Before I get started, I do want to take a moment to recognize the organizers of this amazing program that we put together here for you. A few of them are actually here. Fred, I don't believe is here. Of course, I'm here. I'm Jamie. Kelly, I don't believe is here, or Melissa, but Niall, would you mind saying hello to everyone?
Hi, everybody. I'm Niall Gaffney. I lead sort of the data efforts down here at the Texas Advanced Computing Center and work in all sorts of fields of data, and really glad that we can try and take some of the stuff that we've learned on all these things, apply them to data, and work on some of the threats to our world, I guess is the best way to put it. So welcome, and I'm looking forward to a busy, fast-paced weekend.
Excellent. I believe Sadef is also with us. You want to say hello, Sadef?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sadaf Sadeghi. I'm the manager of events and operations here at the Big Data Hub located at SFU's Burnaby campus. So great to meet everyone here.
All right. Thank you, Sadaf. And Sadaf, if you've noticed, she's the one that you've received all the emails from and has made sure that you're taken care of. And so we definitely want to give a big thank you to Sadaf. Thank you for all of your hard work. We really do appreciate it.
I'm spamming everyone.
Now, having said that, I want to kind of introduce myself a little bit. Now, my real name is Jamie Powell. Jamie's my nickname. My mama called me Jamie unless I was in trouble. But just to kind of give you a little bit of information about me, I work at the Texas Advanced Computing Center as a senior systems administrator and researcher. But that really doesn't tell you about who I am. I want to give you my spirit character, which in my case is Jake the dog from Adventure Time. And the reason I identify with Jake the dog is Jake the dog is one of those characters that if you've ever seen Adventure Time, he's able to shape and mold his body to be able to help his friends and changes and morphs as he needs to, depending upon the situation. And so that's definitely something that I try my best to do. Now, having said that, I want to know at least a little bit about a couple of y'all if I can. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share and see if I can see your lovely faces here. If you wouldn't mind, one of you all mind kind of telling us if you have a character that's kind of like Jake the dog, like me, that you identify with, who it is. So say your name, where you're from, and what your spirit character would be. So now I see your camera came on, so you know I'm going to have to pick you first.
Oh, that wasn't what I was meaning. I was trying to bring up bacon pancakes because, you know.
Bacon pancakes. Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I put on the spot before I could even think of what cartoon character would be who I am. It's probably, I wouldn't say it's completely Dexter from Dexter's Lab, but but I got a bit of that in me, if you know. So yeah, I like solving things and also enjoy when things go wrong and learning from it, I think is really sort of the point. So yeah, I think that's basically describes my entire career, including when I was doing astronomy. So what were the other two questions?
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
You were right on. So I want to get at least one more out there. Now, there's part of me that wants to volunteer someone, but I see a camera turn up. Oh, okay, Dawn turned hers on, and I see Tweety Bird in the background. So we're gonna see how this goes.
It's not Tweety. It's not Tweety. I do love Warner Brothers more than anything, but no, it's not Tweety. No, I would say Powerpuff Girls It's a mix between Bubbles and Buttercup. So if you
Yes.
ever watch Powerpuff Girls, one time Bubbles, she's explaining a story and she's drawing all these cartoon characters and these flowers and these, and that's something that I would totally do to explain something, is draw it out like cartoon. And then Buttercup, because at some point then I don't feel like dealing with you, and then I'm just gonna be blunt and say exactly what I need to do and move it on. So I feel like that was a very easy question for me.
Yes.
As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, Buttercup and Bubbles. So I actually have them hanging in my car as little stuffed animals because I really think they represent me, but that's all.
And you know what, Don, I gotta agree with you on that one. As being one of your coworkers, I work really closely with Don in my role in education outreach for summer programs. And I love Dawn to death. I do. I call her my sister because she's like my sister. We have each other's back and we're able to talk openly and things. And yes, she is definitely a strong mixture between Buttercup and Bubbles. That's all I'm saying. I think I see more Buttercup than I do Bubbles, but whatever. So also Lydia, I'm going to pick on you. I am. So Lydia has no idea what's going on, like at all. Having said that, so Lydia, what we need to hear from you is, of course, your name, what you do or where you're from, and if you had to pick a spirit creature or a spirit animal to represent you, what it would be. Like for me, it was Jake the dog. For Don, it's a mixture between Buttercup and Bubbles. For Niall, it was Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory.
That fits.
I know. When the shoe fits, you just take it on.
So for you, what would it be?
Oh man, does it have to be a cartoon character?
No, it can be whatever. That's why I say a spirit character, whatever it may be.
Oh man, I mean, I'm very partial to Amethyst from Steven Universe. So if it was going to be a cartoon character, I was going to be like, it's my girl Amethyst, also a birthstone. Anyway, so yeah, oh man, you're putting me on the spot. But hi, I'm Lydia Fletcher. I work at TAC with Niall and Jimmy and a few other people whose names I recognize here. I'm in the data management and collections team at TAC, and so I do a lot of data management, data curation, kind of stuff. And oh man, I think I'm just gonna have to stick with Amethyst because I don't have a better answer right now.
You know what? I can see that. I'm okay with that. I validate that. Now I have to, thanks, Lydia. Now I have to, so we at it on we in the Central Time Zone have represented. So I have to ask at least one person from the Pacific Time Zone to represent. And I think I'm going to have to ask somebody. And who I want to ask, let's see if I can volunteer somebody. So Ricardo, do you have your ears on?
Sure, yeah.
Would you mind telling us where you're from and who your spirit character is?
Of course, you just missed one thing. I'm not in the Pacific time right now, but it's all right. I should have been in the Pacific time, but I'm from Brazil right now. I'm in Brazil, so yeah. But anyways, my name is Ricardo. I'm a PhD student at Simon Fraser. Currently almost finishing my PhD, so about to finish this semester. And I also work with the Big Data Hub on a few projects, so really excited to be here. I was thinking about characters, wasn't able to think of anyone specifically, although I've been called like the Tintin, I think that's how you call it, right? The Adventures of Tintin, because a while ago I had like a different haircut and somebody just said, look, you look like Tintin, right? Quite a lot. It's nice.
You know what? I think that is actually a good thing, though. I mean, I wouldn't mind being associated with Tintin, saving the world with my little dog with me.
Yeah,
that'd be
looks
cool.
fun. Yeah. All right.
Oh, cool.
Well, excited to be here. Looking forward to working. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Ricardo, and thank you for letting me kind of bring you out here. So
No
thank you
problem.
all to all of y'all that kind of shared with us. I just wanted to give everybody kind of a brief moment to say hello. I know there are some introverts that are a part of us right now. They're going, whew, he's moving on. Thank goodness. I just knew that was coming. Okay. So let's move on to the reason why we're here. So today I'm going to go over a couple of the hackathon objectives just to make sure we're all on the same page. Who are the participants? I'm going to give you a little bit of statistics and information regarding the participants, the project timeline, as far as in you as a mentor, so you kind of understand it a little bit. Deliverables and resources, again, so that you know what your students have available to you, and then some mentoring information. And then we're going to have this little thing that we like to call the mentor hack. Now, the reason we do this mentor hack is we've kind of become famous for it. It allows you to both address some issues that may happen in your group, as well as give you a feeling of what it's like to be the student during a hackathon, which gives you a much better view of what's going to happen. Now, having said that, on the screen, I do have listed our Discord server. If you have not yet joined our Discord server, please do. And of course, join the Hack the Threat channel. And the reason for that is because that's going to be our main way of communicating with the group as a whole, as well as with your teams themselves. You're going to have a channel that you're going to create with your group so that you can speak with them as well and share screen and all that good stuff. It makes a big difference. So in the case of this particular hackathon, the aim of it is to bring together the resources, skills, and knowledge found in the HPC community and the scientific community and provide some applied exposure to our students from 2 to 4 year post-secondary schools. What does that mean? We're basically going to take all of our skills and knowledge and expertise, reach over and grab our students, our graduate, our undergraduate students, bring them in, pick a project, and then focus those skills down for a very scope period of time to be able to address them. This comes from the idea of when you sit in the classroom, a lot of times you learn information and things in the classroom, but it doesn't until you actually apply it towards a problem, something you care about. A lot of times those skills don't completely take root. And so that's why we actually use this particular format. The students will have increased familiarity with data science in the cloud, experience collaborative software engineering, which if you have never done that, let me tell you, it can be fun with a capital F. And they're also going to develop their professional communication skills, those soft skills, which are so essential these days. Now, this is something that this will be the first time that everyone in this group has seen. This is actually some of the statistical information provided by both you, the mentors, and the students regarding their participation in this particular event. So we have about 56 total registrations. That includes organizers, judges, mentors, students, and whatnot. So about 44 students, 8 mentors, and co-mentors that will be assisting. Having said that, you can see we actually have a small swath of organizations here. So people are pretty connected here. And of course, that one Simon Fraser, for my data people, they go, look, he didn't normalize it. Yes, I missed that one because I added an extra line to the sheet. I'll fix that after this meeting. But you can see, generally speaking, where people are located. What I want you to be aware of as mentors here. See that number there next to UT Austin TAC? All of us that are from UT Austin TAC are on the central or in the central time zone. University of British Columbia and SFU, Simon Fraser University, are both in the Pacific time zone. So that's something that you're going to need to keep in mind as you're scheduling things. The vast majority of the participants are on the Pacific, are in the Pacific time zone. For we in the central area, it's 2 hours back. So for us, just to put it in mind, I know everybody knows time zones, but just to frame that out. For we at TAC, it's 11:30. It's almost lunchtime. We're in for those that are Canada collaborators and students. they're just getting their day started at 9:30. That's a big difference. So just putting it out there. We have a lot of graduate and doctoral students. And then, of course, we have undergraduate students as well. But the vast majority of our participants are graduate students. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm kind of excited about that. And having said that, the vast majority of them are from the data science and computer science fields. And then we have a very strong contingent from the computational linguistics. I had never heard of computational linguistics until this hackathon. So it's going to be a really interesting mesh of skill sets and things like that from and experiences that are going to come together in this. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And of course, then we have some biology, genomics, some neuroscience. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. But the reason I gave you this is so that you have an idea of what you're going to be working with. Now, I always like to give you all a simplified timeline. Now, just to say this out loud, the full schedule is located online on the hackhpc.github.io /hackthethreat site. But as a mentor, you kind of have to break that down and so that you can understand it. I also want to throw out there as mentors, there are calendar invites for each and every event. You can download them, add them to your calendar, because I don't know if you're like me, but if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. The other thing you may want to keep in mind is each day has its own Zoom link. So keeping it in your calendar assists with keeping that in order. Except for Monday, where you have two different Zoom links, because we have one for a morning check-in and one for a final presentation. Having said that, Thursday night, 2 days from now, we're going to begin with our kickoff. Now, our kickoff starts at 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Okay? And what's going to happen during the kickoff? Kickoff night is not about actually getting started on the work. Let me say that again. Kickoff night is not about getting started on the work. Kickoff night is about team formation and building those initial relationships within the team. Taking the time up front to do that will aid in you being successful in the end. That's why we started in the night, in the evening, or afternoon, I should say, and we keep it relatively short. Now, the mentor pitches, I'm going to tell you more about here in a slide, but that's for you. Mentors, you all will be providing no more than 2 slides and have 2 minutes to pitch your idea so that the students can actually pick from the ideas that they like. In picking the idea, they will actually create breakout rooms for each of the mentors and ideas, and then the students will be able to vote with their feet, so to speak. If any of the teams are too large, we'll go in and ask them to choose their second or third choice so we can balance out the teams. We really don't want to have any more than about 5 participants per team, if at all possible, just to keep the group small. Then Friday morning, Saturday, and Sunday, we have these things called check-ins. And what the check-ins are, in the morning and the afternoon, we bring the group together, we kind of get everybody on the same page, and then they can break off into their groups to work. Sounds great. But what we do as an organizing committee is we have events that help your team stay motivated and progressing in their work as they go. Okay? So for instance, on Friday, the first thing you're going to do are team introductions. Now, for those of you that have never participated in a Hack HPC hackathon, it sounds kind of interesting. But what that means is your team's going to come together, your team's going to come up with a team name, a team theme song, and a team virtual background. So as you see behind me, and as you saw some of the organizers come on, we have a virtual background. It shows that we're kind of united. It bonds your team. The other thing it does for my fellow introverts, it becomes your icebreaker. It gives you a task that as your group comes together, you get to know their names, you get to know the group members' names, they get to discuss what they want to designate themselves as things like that. So you kind of get to know their personalities, and it takes the pressure off. and it allows you all to work on something simple before you work on the big thing. And there will be a prize, just letting you know. In the afternoon of Friday, we're going to have our team goals. The reason we do team goals in the afternoon is because over the course of Friday, they're going to adjust and change. And then we also have you add tasking to it so that they can start to build a project plan. Saturday, same deal. We do a team status. Where are you? What have you gotten done? What are at least 2 to 3 tasks that your team intends to accomplish today? And then the afternoon, we see how many of those tasks they got done. What's their progress? Sunday, just a quick team status. Hey, where are you? What are your tasks for the day? Because we want to get out of the way of the work. But then Monday, this is something you may want to write down as well. Mentor team trailers. We have an award that is called the Viewers Choice Award. The Viewers Choice Award. The Viewers Choice Award, what they do is people go online and actually vote for their favorite team. Well, that voting actually opens Monday morning before you've done presentations. And so how do people know what your team's about? Well, through the mentor trailers. And just so I have a slide that I'll actually show you here in a moment that will kind of give you an idea of what those mentor trailers are. And then, of course, Monday night, after a long few days of work, we have our final presentations. So just to put this in perspective, so there's about 96 hours total time from the kickoff to final presentations. About 7 of those hours we're going to take up in planning and check-ins. That includes the Thursday night event. You need about at least 30 hours of sleep. At least your team does. And so they can sleep and rest and reset and eat and things like that. So that leaves you with about, if they're hardcore, 59 hours of working time. So the reason I'm showing that to you is so that you can scope down your project to be appropriate for those that are working on it. Now, project deliverables and resources. On Monday night, hopefully before presentations, they have to be before presentations, each team needs to provide me with a GitHub repository link. That's the team GitHub repository link, a README markdown file that has been modified or customized for the project, providing some basic information. Any source code that you created needs to go up there. Commented source code, please. My computer science people are going, yes, make sure it's commented. And then a PDF copy of the presentation they're going to give with pictures of the team members, the use of the technology in the project, and then whatever project impact to the community or the particular threat that they're addressing should be included in that. The reason that we do GitHub repositories are twofold. One, so that our judges and visitors and things can see what the teams have done, but 2, and more importantly, so the students can use that GitHub repository as a part of their portfolio. So in other words, you all have been graduate students or worked before, and there's probably some project that you did in a class that you thought was amazing, that when you went back to look for it, you couldn't find. Mine was a Hangman game that I wrote in Macromedia action script that was themed around South Park Kenny. That's all I'm saying. But I lost that code because it was on a zip disk. I'm telling my age. It is what it is. I had the click of death, Niall. It was a sad day, but I missed that project. Yeah, I missed that project. That was like one of my favorite projects I did as a computer scientist, and it's gone as a computer science student. But we want to be able to refer back to these things for our portfolio. Now, resources. That top one you should pay attention to. We have Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services has been very kind to donate $4,000 in computational credit hours that we're allowed to use. The way you get access to it is you send me an email or send me a message on Discord and send me your email address with it. The email address you want me to send you information to. I will make you an administrator of the project or of that group so that you can actually create virtual machines and things like that for your group. At the same time, if there's any way we can assist you, if you're not accustomed to Amazon Web Services, and I'll say I'm getting used to it as well, we'll be glad to assist you in any way we can. Some of the commonly used things, of course, Python, Jupyter Notebooks, Node.js, Replit. And with Jupyter Notebooks, I'll also throw out Google Colab because you can collaboratively work in a Jupyter Notebook, which makes all the difference in the world. And Replit, if you are a computer science teacher or a computer science student that has never used Replit and had a group project, take a look at it. Replit actually allows you to do collaborative coding on many languages, including C and C++, Fortran, and the list goes on and on and on. And of course, our good old friends, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are a part of that. One more time, if you have not joined our Discord server, please do, because that is going to be one of your resources. That's going to be a way that the teams can communicate together, both with you and with each other, share files, start hangouts and things like that for working on the project without being inside of Zoom. So if they're working at 11 o'clock at night or whatever, they can work inside of that without an issue. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a side step here. I'm going to take a side step I'm going to bring this over. I have a feeling I'm going to pay for doing this, but it is what it is. I'm going to stop that share. And I am going to share this right here, the Discord itself. So if you have not used Discord, if you've used Slack before, it's very much similar to Slack. There is a little bit of a learning curve. Everyone will exist inside of the general section. As we see, Don just joined. Thank you, Don, for joining. And Buchini, thank you for joining. Everyone is inside the general chat, but over on the left-hand side, if you don't see it, you can actually click, you can actually search for it and go to Hack the Threat 23. I suggest you kind of centralize in there because the general chat has every person that's ever been a part of any of our hackathons there because we're a community. And then later you'll actually be adding your own group channel. In all likelihood, you'll have a text channel. So that's when you can, of course, send text files, all that good stuff. And you may actually add a voice channel as well. That's a channel where you basically go into that channel and you're instantly in a room where you can just talk and everyone can exchange ideas and things like that. So just putting that out there so that you're aware. Now, having said that, let me go ahead and stop that share. I will also be adding you all, if you do not make yourself a mentor, I will add you as a mentor to the group so that you have access to the private mentors group, just in case we have any, of course, private information that we need shared. Now, having said that, I brought the wrong screen over. Come on over here, Discord. There we go. And thank you all that are joining. Now let me go ahead and go back to share and go back to my screen. There we go. And just in case you are looking for that link to Discord, if you go to the main Hack the Threat site, which I'm going to drop in chat, everyone in meeting. There we go. If you go back to the Hack the Threat site, the schedule, just so that you're aware, you go up top, the schedule is listed here. Now mine is in American Chicago. Of course, yours will adjust for where you are. And for instance, if I go to mentor training, it takes us to the resources site. So if I scroll up, see we're in resources. And each session has links that go along with it, including in this case, the link to the Discord server, as well as all the things that I'm telling you about, such as the team introductions and things like that. We do add them to the sessions information as we go along. And there's the slides right there if you want them. All right, back to our slide deck. There we go. All right. So let's talk about those deliverables for you, the mentors, starting with the pitch slide. Now, the pitch slide, what I'd like you to do is to add your pitch slide to the slide deck. So this right here is actually a link, and even in the PDF, you can click on that link, and I'm going to show it to you here in a moment. Your slide should be no more than 2 slides. Your presentation your pitch should be no more than 2 slides, and it shouldn't last any more than 2 minutes. Now, here's the catch. I will cut you off. If you're going over 2 minutes, I will say time, and that means finish your thought and you're done. And the reason for that is it sets the precedent for the students that when we say you're going to do a 1 minute, 1 slide presentation, they know they only have 1 minute. And the reason we start doing that up front is because when we get to final presentations, they're going to have 10 minutes. 10 minutes includes their presentation and their demo. We want to stick to that because if we have 5 groups, for instance, that's 10 minutes per group, so that's 50 minutes. So you can see how that can add up if people just start adding a minute here, 2 minutes there, 3 minutes there. That makes sense? We want to value everyone's time. You want to make sure that your slide has your name and affiliation, your suggested project idea / title, a general pitch, and then maybe some possible suggested skills or resources to come along with it. You 100% want to think elevator pitch. Keep it simple. Don't go too deep because your group's going to change it anyway. So just to give you an idea of what, so this link actually takes you to open this slide deck of which all of you all have access, and you pick one of the projects, you change the name, add your information, or change the look. So you feel free to change the look of it. I just gave you something. Sometimes we need something to start with, and then we can adjust from there. Now, before I go forward, are there any questions about that? And by the way, I'm not here to just talk at you. If you have questions, ask. We're here for you.
I have questions.
Sure.
So just, I'll come back to this one, but for the Zoom, so it's a different Zoom for the morning, like every morning, or can I, because I copied all of the Zooms from Friday morning and put it on Saturday, Sunday, is at different links. So I should have been,
Yes. It's a different link each day.
okay, so I
Different link each day. Yeah.
each day.
And what it is, and what actually changes, if I noticed correctly, and I might be wrong here, Sadaf, please let me know if I'm saying this wrong. The password actually changes. Is that correct?
I think it's got a different meeting ID as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the meeting ID does change. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
Okay, so they change each day, but not,
Yes.
so the morning and afternoon one is the same.
Correct. Except the only day that is different is Monday,
Yes. Okay.
because we're going to have a morning one, and then we're going to have an afternoon. We're going to have the final presentations one.
Okay, and then for the projects that, and then I think I'm good for the Discord. You said make sure that we go to the Hack the Threat 23 channel, add, and then you said that we have the option to add a voice channel and we'll add a team channel.
Yes, but I wouldn't do that until your teams are formed.
Right.
Don't pre-make them.
Right.
Okay.
And then when we come up with our topic, so the pitch, we have to come up with something that the participants would want to work on.
Yes, which brings up a very good point. So right now I see registered, let me go back, 8 mentors and co-mentors. So let's say that 4 groups are formed. Only 4 groups are formed. What we do is we partner up mentors and co-mentors so that they aren't alone, so that they have backup. But what that also means is that some projects may not be picked. It can happen. We also have some students that have considered becoming mentors, and they may present that night as well. So it's not that you didn't come up with a good idea. It's not that you didn't present it well. It all depends upon what the students want. And the fact is that we want you all to be paired up, mentors and co-mentors. And sometimes we've even seen that two ideas come together and become a project. This is very fluid. This is very flexible, and you need to be flexible with this. That make sense?
Yes. And then, so then these are 3 examples of projects.
Yes.
I mean, not that we're going to copy it, but those are some ideas so we can understand, I guess, the path or because I know you also asked about like what coding language they would need. And if I wouldn't know any of that to put on there, just talk to you.
Yes, you can talk to me as well as, and the fact is the idea basically, and I'm going to talk about this on another slide. The idea that you come up with, you shouldn't spend any more than a half an hour on. And the reason I say that is because you're going to take this beautiful idea, and the way I usually say it is you're going to form your idea, you're going to mold it, you're going to have information about it, and it's going to be this beautiful baby that you're going to hand over to your group to work on. And they're going to look at it and hand you back a truck, because it's going to change and morph based upon their thoughts and ideas. You provide the idea, but it becomes their project. So I hope that helps a little bit. All right.
Excuse me, I have a question
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I have some appointments that so for all this conflicted schedule, do I have to attend all those the Zoom meeting?
That is an excellent question.
Mhm.
And the answer, honestly, is no. Your job as a mentor is to coach your team. I do highly suggest you're there. But if you're not going to be there, 1, let your co-mentor know. And 2, let your team know so that they're aware. As long as you have good communication with your group, you're certain of what they're certain of what their direction is and things like that. If you have some pre-scheduled things that you miss a check-in or 2, it's understandable. Just make sure that your team is aware of it.
Right. So this is like my first time ever. I haven't even attended as a student either. I'm from
Okay.
UBC, by the way. So I'm really overwhelmed with all this information.
Oh, no.
I feel like I'm doing so much for this, or I feel like do we have to set up all this environment for the student?
No.
Is it part of our job, or because you
No.
mentioned about the EC setup of the AWS, is this part of our responsibility, or?
It's your call. We will assist you as much as possible. And the fact is, you may have a student that knows more than me or anybody else about it, and you may designate them as the one that's in charge of it. Again, you're not here alone. Even though this has a competition component to it, the fact is the students are here to learn, and so we can help each other. You're not alone on an island. We're here to help you, and we're here to support you.
Right. I'm like totally willing to learn, because that's one of the reasons I'm volunteering. But when you send a student, so is that means that, let's say I was assigned to this group A, then I have co-mentor, I guess, and you're in the team, we have, let's say, 5 or 6 students. I think you said 5 students. Is that means we are meeting all together and then we plan together, or who's this student's going to help me? Who's this student?
So the student, so your co-mentor, we can't pick the co-mentors until after the teams have kind of formed, unfortunately, because it depends upon how the students pick out. The students themselves the team formation won't happen until Thursday. Once you have your students, then you can kind of settle things out. But the fact is the students drive the work. So you're not, so this isn't you're their boss and you're telling them what to do. You're their coach and you're basically, and I have a slide on this, but you're going to be present, but not omnipresent. It is their project. You just basically, you can almost look at yourself as a client, that you have a request of them, but they're the ones that do the work. That makes sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope
right.
the
And
student.
I'm sorry you feel overwhelmed. I'm sorry.
Okay. No. I'm really excited to be here too. Thanks anyway. But I just worry that I'm really useless. I would be completely useless, right?
No, not at all.
Really?
I will tell you one experience and hopefully it'll help you. I have a friend that her name's Lakeisha. She's in the medical field, and what she needed was a dashboard to kind of display, it was during peak of COVID, and they needed a dashboard to display the availability of nurses and their scheduling and things like that.
Mhm.
She does not know how to code. She does not know she does not know technologies or anything like that. So the first thing we did is we picked a technical staff person or a technical co-mentor to assist her. So that gives her the added information that she needs from what the resources are. And the students did the work. Her primary goal was just saying, this is what I need. That's all it was. And the students would ask her questions and then say, is this what you need? Is this it? And that was basically it.
Okay.
So you don't have to be an expert. Only
Right.
thing we need you to bring is an idea.
That's
it.
the pitch, right?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
sure. I think I got it. Yeah, thanks.
not a problem. And so on to the second thing that mentors have. And I hope, and keep in mind, I'm sure many of the mentors are concerned about that. It is normal. But again, we're here to support you. We're here to help you. Now, so told you 2 deliverables for the mentors. The first is that pitch slide. The second is a gift to your team that's not due until Monday. And it is the team trailer. So a team trailer is something that's no more than 5 minutes long. It basically includes the team goals, team members, and that's it. It's just a way that when that Viewer's Choice Award that I told you opens up, when the ballots open, it's a way for someone to kind of look and see who's on the team and what's going on. Just short, sweet, to the point. And like I said, it's more of a gift to your team than anything else. Now, just so you can have an idea, one particular, it's actually one of my favorite trailers. So it's why I play it. So here it is. Oh, let me turn on the sound again. All right, so now that was a little bit fancier than some of the other ones that we've had, but the backstory there was the name of the group was Flood of Code, and they kind of centered all their presentations on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. And so it became this running joke, but it was also a way of bringing the team together, part of that team identity. And that's what the mentor came up with, and they loved it. They went nuts when they saw it. It doesn't have to be as clean and things as that one. It can be simple, it can be basic, but that's, like I said, that's just one idea. And going back to the Hack HPC site, so I will drop that link in chat here in a moment, or hackhpc.org, it's actually down here at the bottom. slash past hacks, you can kind of take a look at some of the other trailers that are out there. Oh, no. Let's go. Move forward. There we go. So what can you expect as mentors? I know we're coming down here to the end. So your mentoring will be iterative. What I mean by that is when the project starts, the students quite often you've presented your idea, they've chosen your project, and they come up with this scope that is so large, there's no way they're going to be able to finish it by the end. But they figure that out as well. And so the scope starts to come down as it goes through. And that's why we say that the mentoring is iterative. About 50 to 70% of the team's efforts will be spent in formatting the data set. We have a lot of data science people. They know this. I don't have to put this out there for them. Worst case thing that happens, the data set is in a PDF. If that happens to you, I'm sorry up front. Your students will experience challenges, and so will you as a mentor, and tears do come. I have been on Discord calls, 2 o'clock in the morning. Student is frustrated and crying and things like that, and it's just they needed to get it out. And 9 times out of 10, what it boils down to is take a rest, take a step away, go for a walk, step away from the problem, and then come back. It happens. But that frustration means that they're vested in the project. They want it to be successful. So it's also a good thing. And the last thing is you can't solve everything in 30 hours, or in our case, 59 hours, or 96 hours total. No, you can't. We understand that as researchers, but sometimes we have to remind our students of that. And especially with graduate students where you have the best of the best and they're used to not always hitting their mark and always being perfect. You have to give them these gentle reminders that you have to scope it down. It doesn't mean you failed, but it means that in the time that you have to adjust so that you can meet the marks or meet certain marks. And then the rest can be this magical word that we love in research, future work. And that's okay. So again, as a mentor, you're going to solve a couple challenges. We're going to have to solve imbalances in participation. We're very much aware of group dynamics. Sometimes you have students that kind of lean back, that stay away, and others that are fully engaged and they want to lead the charge. As a mentor, your job is to focus on the participants and not the work. You want to make sure your participants are okay, and the work will follow. The project direction isn't viable. So in other words, you see them heading for a cliff. What I usually say is ask questions. Ask questions. Well, what do you see as the outcome of this? Walk me through this process. And sometimes if they don't get it, you may want to say, well, I wouldn't go that way. I have seen that through my experience that this won't work. Let's readjust. And the students very much will be willing to listen. If the students are reluctant to drive the process, a lot of times this happens if you're a professor, specifically their professor. They're used to you being in that professorial role, that leadership role, and it's hard for them to get you to pull back and allow them to take the lead. But that's the way you address them, the questions you ask, the motivations you give them will help that happen. And keep in mind, we're also here to support you as far as that. I might make a pop in your breakout room and see what's going on and see if I can assist. Students just want the answers. My code isn't working, fix it. That's not our job. Our job is to coach them to figure out the answers. Have them talk to it. One of the most famous things that I'm used to doing in the classroom with a student that is trying to figure out an assignment or something is, tell me the story of your code. And what I do is have them walk through the code as if it was a story, including once upon a time. And usually if you get to a part of the code that doesn't make sense in the story, that's probably where the problem is. Morale will decrease over time, specifically Saturday evening to Sunday morning. It's a hard time. remember to have them rest. Remember, you might need to change and have them just talk about something else just to boost it. And if you need us to assist, please let us know. We do have games and things that we include to kind of keep that motivation going. And students do not communicate. We've had several students that they're running into all kinds of problems, and you're like, where's the student? What's going on? It might be that they're in the hospital, they're sick, or something else is going on, or they may not feel like they can complete it. And so the easiest way is to kind of push it off to the side instead of addressing the issue. A lot of times setting up that rapport in the beginning, like that team identity and whatnot, helps to overcome those issues. Now, some of the fundamental principles, just to make sure you get these in there. Observe the students, not the work. We want to make sure the students are okay. If the students are okay, the work will follow. But observe the students, not the work. Be present, but not omnipresent. This isn't even though you presented an idea, it's not your project. It's their project. So be present, but not omnipresent. Use critical questions, not criticisms. Well, that's stupid. No. Why don't you tell me more about the idea that you're going, or why don't you tell me more about the decision you made there? Or what do you think the outcomes of that will be? And allow them to think through it. Okay? And that's something that it's kind of a mental decision you have to make. And be sure both you and the students take breaks and rest. It is essential to make sure that you all rest. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to have one or two students that are just going to decide to stay up the entire time. But as far as in your concern, set boundaries. You all can text me until 12 o'clock a.m. and then I'm going to bed and I'll be back online at 8 or 9. That is okay, to make sure that you're setting the standard of I need to rest and you need to rest as well. And you're going to hear me say that as well as we lead the event. Now, it's 11:58. And what I like to do right now is I like to do something called the Mentor Mini Hack. Quite a few of you have never been a part of a hackathon before, and so this is going to be your opportunity to experience it. However, also realize we're nearing the end of the hour. So if there are any of you all that do have to go, we fully understand. But if you're able to stay, this is going to be a 10-minute exercise. It's going to take 10 minutes. So we're going to be done by 8 minutes after the hour. Just putting that out ahead of time. What your challenge is going to be today, and some of those problems I showed before, don't worry, I'm going to show them again. You're going to need to pick a problem, pick a technique you're going to use to tackle that problem, and maybe tell a story of ideally how it would play out. And you're going to have to make one slide and present it out in 1 minute. Let me say that again. You're going to have to make one slide and present it out in 1 minute. I suggest Google Slides, but there's always someone that tries to do it on their computer. That means that you're the owner of that slide. So one example is I need to get feedback from my students, and they may be reluctant to criticize the type of help that we've given them. One of the ways we deal with that is we do this thing called Like, Wish, Wonder. One of the other ways is Rose, Bud, Bloom. And what it does is it allows the students to express in a positive way, that's the important part, to express in a positive way something they liked, something they wish they knew more about, or something they wondered how it's going to turn out. It reframes the problem, and then having the support of their group, either through snaps or the head nods, letting them know that I feel that way too, gives them the support they need to know that they are not necessarily alone. And at the same time, as a mentor, you listen to those things because it lets you know if there are any problems or speed bumps that we can help them overcome. All right. Now, time for the 7-minute mentor hack. So I see we've lost a few people, and I'm sorry to see you all go, but I'll see you on Thursday. For the rest of you all, we currently have, now I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share. Again, this slide is available on the slides that on the website. So we did give you that. Then let me go to everyone in meeting. There we go. And I just want to see how many people are here. Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to put you in a breakout room. No. I want to give you I'll give you the full, no, that's all right. I have decided. I am the decider. We're going to do it in this room. Usually I'd like to drop you into the breakout rooms and get you started. But what you're going to do, I'm going to show the slide one more time, right there. What you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these common issues when mentoring. You may want to grab a screenshot while it's there if you don't already have the slides. You all as a group are going to make one slide, and then you're going to present that slide to us. And we're going to do this as one large group. Now, I'm just going to sit back, and Sadaf is also going to sit back. So in other words, Ryoko, Lydia, Sasmita, Julia, am I missing someone? Dawn, are you still here? No, and Dawn are actually going to be the ones to do this.
Oh, Julia might have to step out.
Okay, not a problem. That's right. I forgot. Okay. So having said that, so the first tip I gave you was I suggest you use Google Slides because you can work on it as a group. The second tip I'll give you is make sure you pick someone to present. That sounds silly, but make sure you pick someone to present. So before I say go, because then I'm going to stop talking, are there any questions or concerns? All right. In that case, I'm going to hit stop share and go.
Okay, so we're working together, right? So we're gonna, is anybody gonna do the slide? Oh yeah, I guess I can cut my camera on.
Okay, it's about time to turn my picture as well. Hi, everybody. Dawn, Lydia.
Hello.
Hi, Sasmita.
Hello. Okay, so does anybody want to create the slides on Google Drive?
Sure, I can. Hold on.
And
I have my Google open. Let me see. Google Drive.
then are we allowed to screen share?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is that, well, screen share just on the topics.
No
Did
problem.
you guys pick a topic, or does anybody have their thoughts on topics?
Can you see my screen?
Actually, last week, I think we had also one orientation, and Justin was working with me, and we picked a topic, and also he wanted to share. So he shared some climate. He wanted to work on a project on climate change. So he had some data which is already available with him, but I don't see him logged on today. So yeah.
So and this is where I guess I may not be completely sure. The project that we're picking is just it's not just one that's already up here. So yeah, that's where I guess I thought he wanted us to pick from the list imbalance and participation. Like if project direction isn't viable, students aren't
That's
reluctant.
correct.
That's what you want us to pick from. So we're
Yes,
not.
it has to be one of those problems.
Yeah, so we want to pick from the 6 problems that are on here as a team. So which one do we want to pick?
Are reluctant to drive the process. Student just, I don't know, or discreet over time, student to communicate common issues.
Students just want answers. I think
That's
is
the
a
one
good
I was just about to say as well. I was going to say
Students just want answers.
Okay. Student just want their answers. Okay.
Okay, so then I'll stop sharing that.
Answers. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, and then who's going to present? That would be the next. Because I remember him saying someone's gonna present, so
don't know. Mental hack. Heading student is. I'm still a little confused. What am I supposed to do here? So we discussed about this and one side and present.
I thought we just talk about techniques. So the problem is students just want answers. And then we talk about how do we help the student that just wants answer? Like, how do we give them guidance and focus and still give them what they want without giving them, in a sense, the exact answer?
Right.
So I think of Jamie saying, like a student, instead of like criticizing something, it's like, oh, can you walk me through the process? Can you, tell me your thoughts? So if they just want the answers, I always say, just keep asking them questions. So they answer it themselves by us asking questions.
Right. It does help when you actually speak out, right? Like say it with using the word. Sometimes you solve problem yourself too, right? It happens to me. Anyway, keep asking questions.
And he even said, like, have them tell a story of their code.
Right. Oh yeah, that was a really good one, isn't it?
Yeah, he said, have them tell the story, and usually it'll fall apart. Like wherever their story falls apart is where their code falls apart.
Right.
Again, and I'll stop talking because I'm
No, this is really good. Very good input. Julia, just want to answer the questions. Can we give them like examples? Is that okay to show them samples or something? Or like the code sample, if you have, no? Would that be kind of cheating?
I saw Lydia say yes, so I'm thinking, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think what's important for me when I work with students to emphasize is that, yes, at the moment, and this is from my experience of being a librarian for a long time and having students come to me and saying, I need an article about this, and then asking me, is this a good article? It's like, well, you have to decide whether it's a good article for what you're working on. I can't do that for you. But it's kind of, to me, it's always been important to make sure that they understand that, in the future, they're not going to be taking tests, like they're not going to be graded. And if they need to use Google to look something up on the fly in the middle of a meeting, no one's going to stop them. Like, yeah, so I think being able to give them examples is completely correct. It's also just getting them to understand that, like, the world is not just, did I get this multiple choice essay question or multiple choice test question right?
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, we didn't hear anything from Sesamita, and we have like 30 seconds left and we still didn't say who's going to present. But I
Not
didn't.
it.
That's me.
So, yeah, Don can present, or Raiko. I mean, yeah, go ahead. Or Lydia.
Did you want to add, Sesamita, to anything, like if the student just wants answers?
If they understand the project really well, they would definitely share. So we have to keep engage them. I mean, like you have pointed it out, like keep asking questions, tell the story about the codes. That's how to make really feel that they have understood the project and what they are working on. And the more they communicate, there's really, more communication, and they need to know their teammates.
And time. We are at time. Now, normally the way this works is I throw you into a breakout room and then it just pops you back out, which is what the students experience.
Mm-hmm.
But now, coming to us from the Hack the Threat 23 challenge,
Mm-hmm.
our future mentors now have 2 minutes, exactly 2 minutes, to explain their outcome from their research here. So with that being said, I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock because your slide's already there. Hang on here. Let's see if it'll do it. Why? My phone knows me. It should. Okay. All right. So to the Hack the Threat 23 mentors, you now have 2 minutes and the floor is yours.
Sure, do we have an agreement of who's gonna represent us?
Thought Lydia had said yeah. So, it wasn't, oh, I thought you were saying you got it.
I thought Sesmita does. Okay, well, we can't push each other, so I can actually present this. I don't know, I'm good, but this is
Yeah,
what we
please go ahead. Yeah.
Jamie?
Reiko, please go ahead.
Yeah, mentor mini hack. This is, I don't know how to present, but student just want, we picked the common issues. One of the common issue was the student just want answers. How we help the student, what can we do to help student? There was a lot of input from you, Jamie, that we thought it was very helpful. One of them, the very striking one, was to have them tell the story of the code. You know, this was a very, it's almost like a poetic suggestion. We really love that. But one of the first thing that Dawn came up was to keep asking them questions, encourage them, motivate them. We are the actually audiences for the student who is actually, it's like a, you know, the orchestra. They're the one playing. We're the helping audiences. Number two, as Jamie suggested, the story, every code has a beautiful line. So we let them play the music of the code. Number three, share the code samples. This was my idea. We all probably have like a GitHub, some kind of code, help them to encourage us. This is the example. Maybe you can help them to build their code if they struggles. And number four was more communication. It was from Sesamita. We all know the student, probably including us too.
Right.
Issues with communication. Sorry. Time out.
So that is time. Yes, you can finish your thought on the more communications.
Right. So we all know the students do not communicate, as you said. That we all know that. We all work in university. So this is where we can actually intervene. Give them some subject or encouragement so that the conversation to flow.
Excellent. All right. Good job. Good job, group. And I actually took away one thing that I usually have you all do as well. I usually have you come up with a group name. But I at the same time, I was able to see how you all work through it and things. And if you wouldn't mind stopping your share, I'm actually going to show you some things that I wonder if you all picked up on. So the first thing is, did you notice you really didn't have time to get to know each other? You didn't. Now, what usually happens when I drop you into breakout rooms is that's the first thing everybody does, because when you split a big group into small groups, the first thing they go is, hey, my name is, and they go from there. And Sesamita saw that last week. If I remember correctly, your group almost didn't finish because they kept introducing themselves. It's a thing. The next thing was the project purpose and goals. And I actually saw, Ryoko say that. What are we supposed to do? What is going on? And then Sesamita went, oh, well, last week we had this one. We can use that. And I was like, and then Don went, no, he said such and such. That happens. So that confusion and making sure that you all get on the same page and go forward the same goals. You kind of saw how that played out. The gamification. You have 7 minutes to do this. You have 1 minute to present. That's a part of that gamification. It makes it fun, and yet you're still moving forward. You saw how to scope it down. I offered some guidance. Yes, yes, you're supposed to pick one of the topics that I gave you. And then other things I didn't say anything about. Well, how are we supposed, Ryoko asked, how are we supposed to address that? That's the point of the exercise, for you to figure out, how would you address these things? And of course, we have the roles and responsibilities. Who's going to present? See how that works out? And adjusting to the skill levels. And of course, critical questions as well. So you saw how that process occurred. That's going to happen on Thursday night. That's how your students are going to feel. And so be aware of these things as you're going into it, that hesitancy that the students are going to have. If you noticed, Don and Ryoku, the two of you all were kind of geared up, but we've got to do this. And Sasmita was sitting back like, no, we did this last week. I know how to do this, because she's had that experience before. And so, yeah, just putting that out there. So normally I take you through a Like Witch Wonder, but we're running late, so I don't want to take up your time, but I do want to say this is a very valuable skill to use with your groups to help, one, for them to be able to express themselves and the things they're thinking about, but two, most importantly, give you as the mentor the information you need in order to adjust as necessary, or maybe get additional resources if necessary. So, having said that, that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next session will be the kickoff, where we're getting started. I know y'all are super excited about that. Don, smile, smile. The kickoff is coming. You're supposed to smile. Excitement? No? Okay, that's fine. Sasmita is smiling, so we're okay. So we're gonna so that'll be starting on Thursday. Again, that is 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. So please be ready. And in addition to that, just a reminder one more time about the slide deck for mentors. I'm actually going to stop that. I'm going to drop it into chat so that you all have that link readily available. Let me scroll down to it, or scroll up. Where is it? There it is. Come here. Thank you. And let me grab that link, copy link URL, and please add your slide to that pitch slide deck. That way everything is in one place. And of course, everything will be ready to go. So having said that, I'm actually going to stop the recording so we can go on. So thank you for joining us.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.